everybody. Good morning. And my hair is not staying. No, I worked so hard on that. Oh no. Oh, I'll have to fix it somehow. I was trying, y'all. I was trying to be all cute for you, and I can't. I can't. Well, wrong way. Uh, y'all. Oh my gosh, y'all got to just redo it. That hurts. I was trying to be all cute for you guys. I really was. I really was. I wanted to be all cute for y'all. And there it goes. I'll deal with it later. How are you doing this morning, everybody? Lois Cox, I missed you. Stalin One, welcome. Welcome. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Good morning. I'm having a hard time with my hair this morning. I was trying. I was trying. And I can't do it in reverse. Oh, it'll just have to be a ponytail. I give up. I don't have that much energy this morning. Love y'all. I don't. I'll do this. How about that? Get a little bit of that going. How about that? I don't have the energy this morning. Wow, good morning, you guys. We are going to continue with the Sarah Boone hearing. We're going to kind of go back a little bit to catch up. I've never done it that way. So, oh, snap. Oh my gosh, y'all. It's going to be interesting for me today. Um, because if if Ian and Rob do their thing, I am going to be broadcasting literally from 10 a.m. to 1 a.m., maybe 2. We'll see. We'll see what happens. We'll see. Okay, guys. So, do y'all want to continue with the Sarah Boone situation? I had it up and running. Don't tell me I dropped it. I'll have to get it up again. And I can do that. So, did any busy day? What are y'all doing today? What are y'all's plans today? What are you doing today? Yay, I got it. We're going to pause it. I'm going to back it up probably to 23, 34. I'm going to back it up a little because to right at 1 hour because a lot of us need a refresher. And there we go. Going for a long walk. Oh, you know what? I haven't done that in a long time. In a hot minute. Oh, people were asking. My gavel's in the wrong direction. I found a gavel. I found a gavel. I found a gavel. Oh, there goes my neck. That's so wonderful. Y'all, it's not for the faint of heart to get older. Let me tell you. Cleaning cabinets out. Oh, give my doggy a bath. I found this at Goodwill for $2. It's vintage. It does have a repair, but this thing, they say that this may have been in one of the bigger government houses like the Texas House of Representatives, something along the lines of that. But it is a big, heavy gavel. This is for a big room and it gets loud. So, speaking of loud, am I too loud for y'all right now? Am I too loud? I don't know for sure. I'm working on it. I'm trying to find images Every a lot of gavels are very uniquely made, and at the time these were made, they were uniquely made. Oh, good, awesome, awesome, awesome sauce. Let me do a quick check. Uh, okay, Sneaky Pants will be here shortly. Yay, Sneaky Pants! So, did either one of you watch the Sarah Boone motion hearing with us yesterday? Because I need to catch us all up. I'm sorry, that sound is so much better. Where are we in that? Okay, we read through some of her motions, but we read her letters. We were in the middle of watching the hearing, and she has asked for an insanely amount of accommodations because she's pro se. So she's trying to get the same accommodations and treatments a lawyer would get, but in prison. I mean, jail. She's not in prison yet. So she's wanting, let me see, the pay, well, the, first of all, she's wanting access to the internet, and they're like, not going to happen. She wanted extra time on the computer. They did concede to that. Instead of 9 to 4, she's going to get it from 9 to 4, and then Sunday through Thursday from 7 to 10, and then Friday and Saturdays from 7 to 11. So she'll have to turn that back in during those times. Between 4 and 7, they have head count, they have shift change, they have meals. So they're not going to allow her to have that. And then talking about whether she should have the shock anklet on, they call it a shock belt, but it's an anklet, or whether or not she should have shackles on. She didn't have to make that decision right away. She wants to wear a skirt, y'all, a skirt, because if she does choose the shock, I call it the shock bracelet, if she chooses to wear that, then what's going to happen is that when she's in her skirt, the jury will see it. But what will that do for her? It will allow her to move around. It will allow her to be able to go to the podium upon permission, go up to a witness to get, like hand them a document. So that is a decision she has to make. If she does not choose, well, she could wear pants with the shock anklet also, but she wants skirts. Oh, Sneaky's popping in. Pop yourself on when you're ready, love. And then she also could opt out of the shock anklet and be in shackled. But if she's shackled, she has to stay at the table. She can't move around. She can stand up, she can sit down, but she can't come out from behind the table. The jury cannot see the shackles, but that also limits the prosecution. They have to stay behind the table. Everything will be done behind the table. I don't know what she's going to choose. I don't know what she's going to do. Um, if I was her, I'd be in pants with the shock anklet. Good morning.
Good morning. Having
Good morning. Good morning. I'm trying. I'm going to fake it till I make it.
Oh man,
I
did it start early?
I am exhausted thinking about today because we have trial until 7 o'clock my time. And then at 7, 8 o'clock, guess who goes live with their Friday Night Frenzy? And if both Rob and Ian are on, I will be interpreting it, which means I'll be up till 1 a.m.
We thought this through really well. Yeah, it's
Played
necessary.
very well, did I?
It's you're eating and sleeping and breathing the law.
I'm preparing myself for a lot of sleepless nights for school.
And Tracy Drive.
Huh?
And Tracy Drive.
Tracy. Oh, the Tracy Drive. Yeah, I'm preparing for that. I just didn't understand the word you said. Yeah, I am going to be doing my Tracy Drive. It's a cancer drive fundraiser for a cancer patient who is terminal. And I am hoping that done. I need to know when they're going to be out of town. So hold on.
Good morning, Miss Fox and Stein.
Okay, I had to send a quick thing to our interpreter for this afternoon. Oh, hey, did you ever hear from Braxton? I didn't.
No, I ended up not sending him a message about it because I fell asleep. And then I ended up waking at like 6 o'clock your time, which is 4 o'clock my time. And I was like,
I just said, I hope you had a good night. I'm not going to do anything. So we're going to go ahead and hop into the court feed. I do have the captioning on. The volume is, we'll see how this goes.
okay. If
my
so, I'll turn down my mic to what it was yesterday.
Oh, no, this is the different feed. This is
Okay.
Sarah Boone. Remember, we were
Oh,
in the
right.
I
Right.
backed it up an
In
hour.
2 hours, I'll turn down my mic.
Yeah. Okay. So I backed it up because some of us have not seen this, and it just gives a little context to where we are. What
Captain.
the?
Judge, I'm going to object to that question. It calls for her to speculate at this point as to what all the other alternatives may be.
I'm going to come back
in house there.
We're got spicy.
And I would just chip in that, obviously there's safety issues, and you can definitely distinguish
We're
between,
talking about her
paper
paperwork.
copies and anything made out of metal, which is what the captain just testified to. That's the problem, it sounds like to me, is anything that could be a safety hazard
Right.
is an issue for us.
So, ma'am, do you have any other questions regarding the Corrections Department position with regard to the USB drives?
What was the outcome?
It sounds like unless I've missed something, it sounds like the Orange County Jail is going to continue with their protocol of storing, inventorying, and keeping the USB drives in accordance with the procedure as provided to you and read to you in open court.
And that's due to metal?
That's due to the reasons that were already identified. The matter of security regarding the drive being fashioned.
What's happening is she wants to keep her thumb drives with her in her bunk along with all of her paperwork. Problem is that the boxes that the paperwork are in and the amount of paperwork is a fire hazard against the fire code for the county and pretty much in every jail system. So they do not and will not allow her to keep the thumb drives because the metal that wraps around and goes into the computer and inside the thumb drive can be fashioned into a weapon and harm somebody else if stolen, or she gives it to somebody, or someone just beats her up and takes it. So, no, they're not going to permit that. So, I will tell you, the person speaking, the gentleman that you cannot see, is the attorney for the county jail and for the county itself. And then you have basically the warden, which is the lady. You can see my little arrow moving on the screen. This is kind of like the big boss for all the jail systems in that area. So there we go.
And in a way that may affect security, and it continues to ensure that those drives are secured, controlled, inventoried, and in good working order. Would you have any questions?
That's banging.
Could you please provide the last name of Scott, the legal counselor, please?
I'll spell that, Judge. Shevenell.
Gladly.
One more time, please.
Shevenell.
Thank you.
No.
With regard to the third request is to a classroom, Captain Di Giovanni.
So that classroom is a multi-purpose classroom. It's used by programs and chaplain services. I cannot allow the use of a classroom. What I can offer is if the defendant is willing, I can move her to a housing unit and place her in a secure cell where no one will disturb her, and she can review and conduct case review. She will still have access to a shower. She will still have access to open day room time. She will still have access to phones, but the review and her location will be in a secured housing location where she would be the only person.
I got to catch people up. What this is about is she's requesting a private room, classroom, where she can sit all day long and work on her trial. She wants her own private office. And so they're saying that can't happen because other people use that space through the day. Now, if she's wanting privacy, they had a secured unit where basically what we would call lockdown, 23 hours versus one. It's called 23 to 1. And they have a space that is not a 23 to 1, but is a single cell. So she can come and go as she wants. She can get her shower time. She can go into the day room on the same schedule she's on now, but it's a single cell, which she could organize and leave her papers however she wants. They'll close her door when she leaves and lock it and unlock it. And that's ideal. If I was fighting for my life, I would take that because that means I get uninterrupted, quiet time to plan my defense. We'll see what happens.
In the cell.
I'd rather have that be in a room with 100 women. Well, probably.
Ms. Boone?
I'd rather have that.
Captain, is this
Hi, Poopa.
Lima dorm?
Thanks for coming to say hi because you
K
couldn't
dorm.
sleep.
Bye-bye.
Kilo?
Good day.
So my only options are being moved to the maximum security dorm or my bunk.
K dorm is no longer a maximum security. It's a multi-purpose area with inmates of varying needs.
Is it the
Being
elderly?
secured and housed there.
I don't
So
care.
it's not the maximum dorm any longer.
That's correct.
I was about to say throw
And
her
I'm
in
unable
shoe.
to utilize the classroom for an hour or
Give me
two
a
per day
private
while it's
room.
dark the entire.
That's correct.
And if I may
Yeah.
ask, other than it being accessed on a rare occasion of the 2 classes that do participate in that classroom,
I've got to fix the cord.
why is it that I'm unable to sit and be viewed by the officers at all times in my dorm comfortably to be able to utilize the phones on a regular basis, the day room on a regular basis, to be able to go outside to recreation, to have just for fresh air? How is that? I'm not understanding specifically why the reason is it has to be so extreme from going to being locked behind a door 24 hours a day to not being able to just utilize the classroom for an hour or 2 per day.
Ma'am, you will still retain your rights as an inmate and have access to all the services and day room time that you currently have
Yes, that's
during the
helpful.
same
Thanks for
operational
joining us.
hours. And instead of having to move items from a housing area into a classroom where the officer may have line of sight, I cannot guarantee that my officer will have continuous unfettered access to you to ensure the safety and security of that classroom while something may potentially occur in the housing unit. So as a matter of security to the rest of the inmates in the housing unit that you are currently assigned, my staff and the facility, I can make the accommodation where I could put you in a single person cell where you would have unfettered
Indeed.
access, uninterrupted access to your case material, and still have my officers in the housing area where if you had a question or you wanted to take your shower during normal day room time, you would be able to do so.
Hello, my name is Sarah Boone, and I'm fighting for an inferior
I've been in a
option.
situation where I have been behind the closed doors also when I was made PC, when I first got to
I rather
Orange County Corrections Department. And if it's anything like that, I do not ever want to have that experience again. And to be honest with you, forgive me, Captain, but I do not believe that it would be
helping her.
this simplified. And nonetheless, I'm behind a closed door for 24 hours. Is there anything that I can do, any kind of research or further explanation in order for me to try to still be able to utilize my dorm, which is general population dorm, where I do have friends and I do have some type of comfort there, in order for me to be able to access the classroom? Or simply are my options from working on my bunk or to the extreme of being behind a closed door for 24 hours?
You're not behind a closed door for 24 hours, woman. You get a private room that you can enter and exit during normal time.
Captain?
You get a day room where everybody else.
Judge, I'm going to object to that question. It calls for her to speculate at this point as to what all the other alternatives may be. She's simply here to, responding as to this particular request, and now she's asking her this kind of this broad general question about alternatives.
Thank you.
The objection is sustained.
I'm the attorney.
In regards to number 4, earphones or headphones, I would need to consult with legal because I don't know what the ramifications of that is. We've not had a pro se inmate ask for earbuds or headphones. I would have to defer to legal counsel and my chain of command for guidance in that request.
You look very nice today.
In regards to number 5, internet access.
Love your hair today, actually.
Again, we've not had a pro se inmate, or at least not one that I've been responsible for, request internet access without limits. So again, I need to refer to legal counsel with legal counsel and my chain of command to get guidance on that. Regarding number 6, a word program.
Somebody asked me yesterday, and I forgot to answer the question, and here it is. They asked me,
why does she need earbuds or headphones?
The answer is because there's videos in pertaining to her case. And because of the videos, and she's sitting in a room with other people, and she doesn't want them to hear everything that she's watching. She wants privacy. Get the individual room, woman. Then you don't need them.
Yeah. Plus, why would you want headphones or something if somebody can garrote you with, like, the cable?
Well, they do have.
And that says that she gets garroted with it rather than garrote somebody.
The headphones that they have in jails and prison break very easily. You can't because of the plastic and how it's much harder for you to do anything like that, because when you put that kind of pressure on them, they just break. They're like the cheapest things you can get, and you look at them and they fall apart. But the thing is, for her, is if she took that room, she can enter and exit during the free time as much as she wanted. It's on a pod where everybody has their own room. She could shut her door, have her private time, keep her stuff safe, still get out and shower and do everything, but she doesn't want to leave where she is.
We've not had a pro se inmate, again, myself, that requested access to a word program.
Is there
I would need to consult counsel, legal counsel, and my chain of command for guidance before we could make a response. Number 7, telephone access. In her statement here, as you are aware, my dorm contains payphones only and are limited to only 15 minutes per call, which are collect. I need to be able to communicate on a regular, normal phone to make all necessary calls. Hold on, I'm turning the page. For my case to use in trial. I have no other way to contact anyone that is not collect, which incredibly, I believe that's diminishes. I don't know what the other word is here. If not all of my opportunities to properly prepare. The phone system that we currently have in the jail for the inmates to access is as is. I don't have the ability to make any modifications.
Good morning, Ronnie.
Number 8, discovery hard copies. It seems that Ms. Boone already has access to her hard copies. The concern I have to do now is do some research with legal and my chain of command, because that quantity of paper can potentially become a fire hazard, and we have standards in place. And Judge, I'm not certain if you're familiar with the Florida Model Jail standards, but the quantity of paper is actually the problem. So we may have to come back to the table for a different type of resolution regarding the 2 cases of paper discovery.
Good morning, Ronnie.
All right. Ma'am, do you have any questions regarding Captain Giovanni's
Let me ask this. What is it?
and the Orange County Jail's position with regard to the earphones, headphones, internet usage, word processor, telephone, and the concern regarding the hard copies and it being a fire hazard?
I do, and I was also including number 3, the classroom utilization. I just want to make it clear and in open court that I want to have the understanding with everyone that it is an option of mine to decide to remain on my bunk with this discovery in the laptop, and it is or my option to be moved, but I have the ability to make that decision.
Judge, I have no objection to that. I am not looking to impede anybody's ability to access to a general population housing unit. I was simply offering an option that would be amenable to security and potentially Ms. Boone.
Your own.
Okay. Am I able to proceed?
You can.
So for my understanding right now, you need to speak to your legal counselor in regards to the headphones, the internet, the Word program, and the discovery hard copies, which I already have. Is that correct?
And telephone access.
Oh,
You want unfettered telephone access, if I read your letter correctly.
reasonably, I'd like
You
to have
forgot
access to a
one.
regular phone. It could be 1, maybe 2 times a week where I save all of my calls for a particular day. I'm always up for solutions, just whatever it is that I can do in order to progress properly and expeditiously. I'm trying to do so by having this, where I am confused why this was not all solidified prior to the implementation of the laptop. So I'm waiting.
Okay, let me explain. I got some explaining to do, man. Okay, in prison, jail. Jail is before guilt, prison's after guilt. You have to pay for every phone call.
Mm-hmm.
And it's like $1 a minute. It's expensive. I got a kitten playing with my feet. Little soft paws batting my toes. And so she's got a lot of phone calls to make. She's got to line up her witnesses. She's got to figure out who's what. And most importantly, she needs to have a lot of access to her PI that the court has paid $11,000 for to do a lot of the legwork for her. And so she is wanting a private phone line because an attorney client phone call cannot be recorded. And no one can be in the room when you're talking to him. So what do you think could happen if she was calling all these people without any monitoring?
Witness intimidation?
Well, I'm sure that somehow they find out about it, but
Sarah, I'm always up for
unlimited
solutions, Boone.
she's wanting unlimited access to the outside world. I look skinny today.
You look fabulous. You look fabulous. You look great. Like, your hair looks good. You look great. Like, just saying. I don't know if I said it earlier, but I was like, your hair looks good. Like, you look good.
You guys, I normally put my makeup on in less than 5 minutes. Today, I had 10. I could do a full face. We call it a full beat in makeup world. That's everything in 5 minutes. Cody 6 Alpha Mike Charlie 9. Welcome this morning. Good morning, everybody. So anyway, the problem with them giving her that kind of access is that she can sit here and call whomever she wants, whenever she wants during that time frame, and they don't have any control over it. Because she's acting as a pro se, she can say this is a pro se phone call and they can't monitor it.
For whatever it is that I can do to fully access and become a pro se defendant and inmate. Do you know when, how long the deadline might be for the open-ended items that I would be waiting for?
Judge, this is Scotch. I mean, I'll chip in with the legal piece. The legal piece of it is simply that she's a pro se inmate. She's not the first pro se inmate that the jail has had. We've had several. And the issue is whether or not there's any constitutional or statutory violation with what we provide pro se inmates. And I would argue that there's not. She has access to the court as required by the law. Everything she wants is over and above, what our typical stance is for pro se inmates. And all those policies are in place for a reason. But somehow she wants to go beyond that, and she wants all this extra consideration, more than anybody has ever been given, frankly. And at the end of the day, again, it's a constitutional question. Is it a violation of her constitutional rights, the restrictions we have in place? And I would tell you it's not.
Is that a position, Counselor, that you're taking today? Because Captain DiGiovanni had stated she needed to consult with legal counsel as to the issues of the headphones, internet, word processing, telephone issues. Is that the position that you're taking today, or is that something you need to further investigate to have a final position as to that?
No, that's my piece of it from the legal end. Now, of course, she's got to talk to her folks as far as the security end of it, because a lot of those things are in place because of security concerns. But from a legal concern, I can easily answer that today. And the answer again is, she's legally, she's allowed access to the court and all these other things that she wants. And really, and I'll tell you what the case law says. The case law says if she's pro se, she's entitled to get, a paper, a pencil, and some stamps and some envelopes and those types of things. The idea that she wants unfettered access with the phone and she wants to make calls all day and night. At the end of the day, I'll also say there's case law out there that says, she's gone through, I think, 8 attorneys in this case, and she had several attorneys appointed to her case, and she's kind of put herself in this position today. And the case law is not real favorable to folks that put themselves in that position.
Ma'am, do you have any other argument with regard to these requests?
Doggy, that be a snap. I turned my, I can't hear myself right now, so just let me know if I'm too loud or not. But did y'all hear that snapping happen? That snapping happened would be her neck going, oh, shit. Oh, I want to be able to do that to someone one day. Holy crap. Are you kidding me? That is a whoop down. That's what we call an attorney whoop ass.
Yeah.
I know.
Someone earlier said, Lois Cox said, I love this judge.
Oh, I didn't mean to hide that. I apologize. I love this too. I want to work for this judge.
As to the headphones, internet, word processor, or telephone.
So my understanding is that I'm being penalized by Orange County Corrections Department because of their misunderstanding in regards to my, in quotes, 8 attorneys prior. Is that why I'm unable to have anything in order for myself to properly represent myself as a pro se defendant and inmate of the Orange County Corrections Department?
I'm not going to answer that.
Not being penalized, just the opposite. She's being
I'm not
treated like
gonna
every
answer
other
that
pro se inmate in the institution. She's not being penalized at all. She wants consideration over and above what everybody else has.
If I may please, what is over and above?
I may
What other pro se inmates, what is it that they've asked for? I don't see how they could successfully even represent themselves without internet and a regular working phone. And I'm pretty sure that they were not able to complete their case and the successful outcome that they were hoping for by being provided simply papers and pens.
I have to say, she's really good at fighting for herself. I mean,
Counselor,
that's
if you
I'm not sure if she's asking me a question. I don't know if I'm a witness in this case or if she's trying to ask me a question.
I'm not. You're just simply the attorney for
Right.
one of the participants, sir. If you don't, you're under no obligation to answer that question. You are just providing your legal position with regard to the Ms. Boone's
fine, sir.
demands
I'm not.
and requests.
They're simply requests. And I'm not sure who it might be that could answer my question, please, in regards to what prior or present other pro se defendants and inmates have requested. So I might have a guideline of something to go with forward. And I, again, do not know what is above and beyond simply asking for more than paper and pens in order to properly and rightfully and lawfully represent myself.
Oh.
6 alpha by Charlie 9. Oh, saucy this morning. I like it.
My dear, listen. Come on, listen. What other inmates have gotten is none of your business. It's under their HIPAA and their legal rights. We're telling you what yours are. And if you don't like it, then you start begging and groveling for an attorney to represent you because you're screwed.
God, this judge is so patient.
Counselor, to the extent you want to respond to that, you can.
By now.
Yeah, I mean, Judge,
Really?
like I said, we've got tons of pro se inmates that have come through, that are there right now, that have come through the jail, and they get standard treatment. And she wants a lot of things that are over and above that. For instance, again, unfettered phone calls. She wants to keep things in her cell that she can't normally keep, that they wouldn't allow folks to keep.
Ding, ding, ding.
So there's a lot of issues. I mean, that's a wide open question. But, can I speak to everything that everybody's got in the past? How many pro se inmates we've had that have come through the institution? No, but I can tell you that, we could probably find plenty of examples if need be as to what people have received in the past. And it's nothing close to what she's requiring or requesting today.
Okay.
And she's gotten more than most.
With regard to your state, do you have any position with regard to any of these matters we've addressed? Okay, thank you. All right, ma'am. So with regard to your request as to the laptop, this jail will be able to accommodate your request, and those extensions will be provided as placed previously on the record. With regard to your request to hold the USB drives in your own personal lockup, for the reasons identified by counsel Chevenel, it's a matter of security, and the protocol which secures, controls, inventories, and ensures in good working order the USB drives will be complied with, so that request will not be accommodated. Your request for a classroom similarly cannot be accommodated for the reasons identified by Captain DiGiovanni on the record. However, there is an alternative housing offer that can be provided for you. With regard to your request for headphones, that has been rejected and denied by virtue of legal counsel's argument and what is being provided to you. With regard to the internet, word processor, and telephone, again, for the reasons that counsel for Orange County has identified, those cannot be provided to you. The court does note that you do have the services of an investigator, and JAC provided you $10,000
worth of
and $1,000 for travel for your investigator. To the extent, as requested for the purposes of internet, for locating witnesses and experts, you have a personal private investigator that can utilize. He can do that for you. I know you've made requests previously to look at your phone to find contacts and information. You also have a private investigator who would accomplish some of those tasks for you. And those can be communications and conversations between yourself and your investigator as to who and when and where and what persons you might be able to seek to find. So for those reasons regarding the headphones, internet, word processor, and telephone, based on arguments of counsel for Orange County, I'm unable to accommodate those requests. The jail is unable to accommodate those requests. Those requests will not be provided. With regard to the hard copies, that's going to have to be a matter, if it needs to be addressed, it can be readdressed with regard to the potential fire hazard. Captain DiGiovanni, would that still be an issue with regard to the fire hazard based on the amount of paper if Ms. Boone elected to move to the secured housing in the K
Yes.
dormitory?
That would be.
Yeah,
There's a
it's
limit.
basically the Florida Model Jail Standard 7.12. The officer in charge or designee shall determine what personal items may be kept in the cell or stored with the inmate. However, an inmate shall be allowed to retain a reasonable amount of personal property, including but not limited to his or her legal material, personal hygiene items, writing paper, and writing instrument, and authorized reading materials in reasonable quantities as approved by the officer in charge or designee. Personal items will be kept in an orderly manner. Fire potential is reduced by limiting the amount of personal property in the cells. So it is the sheer volume.
Because she's going to be listening to a lot of videos of her interviews when she was arrested, videos on what we call chest lapel cameras from the police on the day that they came to the house, any and all video footage that they are going to use in this trial as evidence. And she doesn't really want to be sitting there on a laptop using the speaker from the laptop where everybody else can hear her. So she wants that privacy. Hence, get her a single jail cell. And by the way, they're being nice and allowing her to make the decision, but technically, they can put her anywhere they want in that jail that they deem necessary for her safety and the safety of the other inmates. So, if she goes back and there's a problem with all the paperwork and there's issues going on or inmates are causing this pro se situation is causing a disturbance in the common room, or they're in what's called an open bunk room, meaning there are a bunch of bunk beds, and there can be as many, as little I think as 8 and as many as 50 or something like that. I don't know how big it is, but if she's disturbing them or her situation is causing problems within that space, then they can move her, and they can move her without her consent. So it wouldn't surprise me if she didn't end up in that single suite.
Volume of paper, and that is what I need to conduct an evaluation of. Now, in Miss Boone's letter,
that this is like isolation, lockdown, and it's not. This is driving me crazy, y'all. My hair is driving me crazy. So it's not. It is usually it's a pod, usually 2-tiered, sometimes 3, where they have the individual jail cells. They open the doors during common time, during meals and whatnot, and then there are times that they have to be in their cells. But she doesn't want to be in a single cell. I'm like, if I'm fighting for my life, whether I'm guilty or innocent, give me the damn single cell so I can focus and I'm not distracted. And everything I have is secure.
if you give me one moment.
Exactly. I would have jumped on that like right on right. Oh, sorry.
In number 8, discovery hard copies, she writes the following: as I am presently, I can keep these in the permitted property bag discreetly located at my bunk. I will purge the documents I have now and keep only new discovery hard copies. The remaining I can send to the property department and will purge anything already being stored for easy convenience and extra space. I am willing to see what she's going to purge and send to property, but at the end, I have to reduce any fire liability to the building in order to maintain security and safety for the 399 other inmates that I have here, along with the almost 100 or so assigned staff, civilian and certified. I will also say that pro se inmates in the past have been afforded a second fire retardant property bag, and I'm willing to issue a second fire retardant property bag to accommodate the excess, but anything over and above that we may have to find an accommodation. And based on the willingness of the letter that Ms. Boone has written, she articulates clearly that she's willing to purge and send to property any paper that's over and above.
Do you have any questions? No, go ahead.
And I can have that second property bag upon her return this evening.
Okay. Ma'am, do you understand the second fire retardant bag that can be provided to you regarding the hard copies of the discovery?
I do, and it was already provided to me, but the boxes
Already provided to her. Now, I'm going to say this. I said it yesterday. I don't understand how 2 boxes, those legal boxes, were permitted to be stored at her bunk. Number one, it's a fire hazard. Number one. Those boxes should not be stored at her bunk because it's going to impede somebody else's space. They have very limited space. And so I don't know what she's done or promised, because bunkies do not give up their space for nothing. Their space, their space. So she's already refused the bag one.
unfortunately do not fit in the bag, where I did attempt numerous times and even had others try to help me put it in the bag. I also did not know that they were fire retardant bags. I have the one already at my bunk, and I'm in the process of trying to figure out what needs to be purged. I also have my second family law case that I'm trying to be able to obtain those copies at my bunk as well, because of the difficulties of receiving and delivering anything to the property department, which is why I came up with the solution of me trying to purge what I can specifically to be specifically removed from the jail completely by a friend who can come and pick that up. I was just waiting for this hearing to happen so I can figure out when to tell her to come to do so.
So is that accommodation acceptable?
It is. I returned the second fire retardant bag, property bag, because I didn't want to have anything extra on top of my extra already. And it is not able to be used for anything that I can put in there, where I already have everything in the boxes in the one bag already being occupied.
Are you satisfied then with regard to the treatment, for lack of a better word, of the hard copies?
You're asking, is this woman satisfied?
What do you mean by that?
Sure. Are you the procedure for having them stored and where they're kept is identified today? Is that acceptable to you?
Meaning I can have them where I have them now?
That's my understanding.
Judge, may I say something here?
Sure.
Okay, and thank you for allowing me the interruption. The cardboard boxes are not authorized by the fire marshal.
Ding, 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 ding.
The fire retardant bags are. So the documents are going to have to come out of the cardboard box and into the fire retardant bags.
Ms. Boone?
I would have to figure that out for the voluminous amount of paperwork that are contained in those 2 boxes. And there is no way to organize or separate. So it would just be a large mass amount of papers. So if I may, in the meantime, try to come up with some type of organizational structure of those 2 fire retardant bags with my hard copy discovery enclosed in those.
Now, you better stop organizing.
Mr. Chauvinel,
Captain Giovanni, is there any way we can give her an additional bag or so, and she can switch it in and out of property or whatever it may be? Can we provide her an additional bag that may help her to separate her documents?
I could provide the 3rd fire retardant bag, but it's the encroachment into another inmate's area. It's a limited space. But the cardboard box can't remain. And Judge, if you recall my request, I had asked for all of this to be placed on a USB drive so that we would not have the paper in the jail for this very reason.
And I understand that. And Ms. Boone has continued to request the paper copies. And that's why everything was digitized, so that you would have that access to it. Everything has been digitized. But she has continued to request for those, and we're trying to make that accommodation for her as well. Yes.
Scott, if everything's digitized, why do we have to get the paper?
Ding, 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 ding.
That's up to her if she wants paper or not. That's fine.
All right.
It was never my decision to have anything digitized in the first place.
She did not want digitized. She wanted paper only. But at first, they were not going to be able to give her the hard copies because they couldn't just roll in the boxes, which they eventually did. I mean, they did it, but they did everything to put it on a hard drive on the computer so she can sit on the computer and work and not have all these documents floating around the prison, which can be stolen. And by the way, if you don't know this, legal documents get stolen every day because it is like, what do I say? The romance novels of the 80s and 90s to the inmates. They love
Yeah,
reading
leverage on you.
stuff. Part of it is because then they can use it against them. The other thing is it's just great entertainment. And she's at a high risk for people stealing this stuff and manipulating her with it. So they steal a important part of evidence that she's going to need for trial, and she's going to have to do something immoral to get it back.
Love letters and leverage, guys.
Yes. And so I personally would not want any hard copies of anything if I could avoid it in jail. So
I wouldn't either, and I would want the room. But
I would take the private room, and I would take the computer and thumb drives, and I would take a lot of notes in my own handwriting because it's easier just to keep a notepad, and I keep that notepad with me everywhere I went. Under my
Yeah.
clothes, in the shower. I don't know. But the thing is that she really does not understand the fact that what could happen between now and trial is that some of this evidence could disappear. It could cause a riot. It could cause fights. This could cause so much trouble in the jail. And why is she getting special treatment when other inmates only are allowed to keep so much paper, but she's got 2 boxes? It doesn't matter if you're yourself or you're got an attorney. You have legal documents, but you're only limited to a certain amount. So they're making way and above and beyond what is safe for them, contingency for her. They
I
didn't give her a suitcase or anything.
sorry, I was gonna say
Well,
something
as a
so good,
whole.
but you caught me off guard.
I know you're joking, but my gosh, people have asked, well, can't they just give her like a trunk that she can lock and live at the foot of her bed? No, they already have one of those. Ain't big, but they
Yeah.
have one.
Plus,
Like a
a
locker.
key is not good in a jail. So it's
So they're doing you're
but
right. They're doing everything they
for
can.
how smart she
Accommodate
is.
She can't come back.
It's funny that she doesn't understand that people can get leverage on her if they steal those documents, and that she might have to do things that she does not want to do in order to get them back, or in order to keep that information private.
And
Or
and the thing is if they catch her lying, so if she's told somebody XYZ and then they steal some of this and find out that she lied, she can get shanked. It's
yeah,
jail sometimes is far worse than prison. Now, jail is where you go before conviction. Prison is after. Or if you have less than, sometimes usually it's a year. In some places it could be a year and a half. If you have less than that amount of time, you can stay in this jail system. But
and nonetheless it's being put on a laptop that is not even fully accessible because some of the programs do not work, which I have not had the time yet to continue to go through everything that are on the USB drives. And
that's your
that
problem.
being not my decision, and nonetheless, and most important to me, they are limited and restricted to particular time periods. When those laptop times are closed for the day, I can therefore pick up the hard copy discovery, be it in a fire retardant bag or in a cardboard box or whatever else it is that I'm able to keep them there at my bunk. I have that as plan B when plan A is closed.
Judge, if I might be able to offer a resolution here. Was the discovery that Miss Boone received, was it just a stack of papers in the box, or was there any type of manila envelope or filing separation system?
I haven't looked at them. I haven't copied them. They were opened in court back in, I think, June 28th when we had the hearing where the court found that Ms. Boone had forfeited her right to court-appointed counsel and alternatively had waived that right by virtue of her conduct. I believe the box was open at that time, and there may be manila folders for some of the items, but I can't speak to all of it. I haven't reviewed it. I'm not able to review it.
Would Ms. Boone be able to indicate whether the paper is free-flowing paper or was it bound in some way?
Ms. Cashman had represented that all staples had been removed and all paper clips had been removed. Ms. Boone?
It is a mass amount of paper.
Are there dividers? Are there manila folders?
There, I believe, are 2 manila envelopes that have contents inside.
And everything else is just free paper?
As far as my understanding is, yes. I've not been able to fully dive into the boxes quite yet because of waiting for information for this. But I can further explore once I return back to the dorm.
I can provide some manila folders without any type of clasp or string in order to get the cardboard boxes out of the building.
I understand. And that would be appropriate. I don't know if I'm limited to a certain amount on top of the specified pen and papers I am able to have. My question is, I would like to know also, please, for the reasonable quantities that you quoted earlier in regards to the amount of paper, is that the definition that you provided, is that for the enclosed housing area, or is this also for general population?
Ma'am, I'm responsible for, based on the Florida Model Jail standards, to reduce the amount of paper clutter in all living spaces. It's not specific to just your housing unit.
Thank you.
Captain Giovanni, does that now can she switch out and get things out of the property within reason if there's additional documents in her property?
Through the request form, that she, we're going to authorize the second fire retardant bag. We're going to offer some manila envelopes without a metal clasp or string so that she could get everything into the fire retardant bags. And then we're going to remove the cardboard boxes, which are what becomes is the fire risk, because it is not authorized or recognized as a fire retardant item based on the fire marshal. The only thing that they consider fire retardant is the bag. And again, I will provide that. And then anything in excess, she could send to the property room. Well, and then upon her need for it, she could write a request to the property room, and the property room will bring it over.
Mm-hmm.
And she'll have to swap it out.
Oh, that means she's going
I'm
to
amenable.
okay.
I'm amenable to her keeping her documentation. I'm not looking to take anything away from her, but it has to be in accordance with fire marshal and policy.
I understand. And I would be happy to comply with the extra bag and the manila envelopes for separators in regards to that.
So, ma'am, if the jail
She'd
was provided those
happy to
manila
comply.
folders for the hard copies and a third fire retardant bag, is that acceptable?
What the hell are
It
you
is
talking
if I
about?
do conclude that I
talking
need
about, Willis?
anything additional in order for them to be able to be held together
So,
in
Haley-
regards to some type of rubber band or some elastic, something to be able to bind the paperwork together. Is that a possibility?
Think?
I didn't hear the question.
You may have to speak more clearly into the microphone in front of you, ma'am.
Would I be able to, please, if I needed, to have a type of rubber band or some kind of elastic in order to bind?
No.
And I know, Captain, that you are aware, the courtroom is not
Where'd
in
you
regards
shoot
to
up
the
ribbon?
Sorry for
property
the
bags
cackle,
that you all
ladies
do
and
supply.
gentlemen.
There's no rigidity to them whatsoever. It's just a floppy bag. So
Sorry for
when you
what?
pick that up, everything goes.
Sorry for the cackle, ladies and gentlemen. Haley Mouse. This is why people. That's the attorney. This is why Ada and I drink coffees the size of our head.
I got a big head. What are you saying? I got a big head.
That we have wonderfully sized cups. Our mugs are fantastically sized.
Not today. I didn't wash my.
Well, usually your mug is like big. It's huge. So
Oh, I have one that's massive, and I love it.
I know. I've seen it. But usually, ladies and gentlemen, her mug is as large as her head, just like my mug. So
Can you
that's
hear
why.
me? Okay? I feel like I'm
Yep.
okay. We changed the way our things are, y'all. So I'm not hearing. Well, let me say this. I got to explain this. Does this sound good from this distance?
Yes.
Um, when I say I can't hear, I'm deaf as a board. What I'm talking about is I have gotten used to vibrations on my eardrums and in my ear. It feels like a little tickle because my sound is so amplified. So I know no one else is talking because I can't feel that vibration. I don't hear myself, and that's how I know. And I lip read and I have closed captioning on the screen provided by my computer, even when there's not captioning provided by the courts. So please understand when I say I can't hear, I should be saying I can't feel the sound.
Yes.
In the middle. So there's no type of, there's no way of actually being
This
able to
here.
make sure that one pile stays in the one pile and so on and so forth. Do you have any suggestions other than manila folders that I might be able to utilize in order to keep those together?
The purpose of the manila envelopes is that you would put the paper in the manila envelope, and that manila envelope keeps paper in order.
Okay, so they're envelopes, not
All right,
folders.
my dear,
Correct.
let me
Thank you.
educate you on the poor man's filing system. Boone, would you mind turning around for the court, please? You have a bunch of papers, right? We're going to provide you with as much paper as you need. You're not going to have to pay for it. So utilize it. You take another piece of paper and you fold it like this. And it will hold, though sometimes you may have to do two. And it will separate into piles for you. And then you can slide that into a manila envelope, my dear. How do you did it in the 1800s? Bitch, please.
Oh, Ada went down. She was so upset with Sarah Boone that she went down for a
Yes,
second.
that's what I get for hitting the wrong button on the mouse.
Sarah made you so upset that you were like, no more. But
I'm so
I was
done.
thinking of a song for
Acceptable to
Sarah,
you? And
which
is there anything else we need
is
to address?
ACCOMADE. That is what they do for me. Accommodate.
Well, I deal with accommodation crap all the time. In fact, I dealt with one on the phone yesterday. Okay. For disabled people. And under the federal law and state law and county and city laws for jails, it is reasonable accommodations.
Mm-hmm.
What is reasonable to you is not reasonable to everybody else. And you're not in that boat. See, we are in the we're in the nuclear sub. You're in a life raft. We're in the nuclear sub. You're in the life raft. If you want us to save you, you got to play nice. Because you know what happens on nuke subs when you don't play nice? Things go boom.
Address with regard to the hard copies.
True story.
Not in regards to the hard copies, no.
Okay. All right. Is there anything else, ma'am, that we need to address today, Ms. Boone?
Yes, please, if I may conclude with the remaining amount of
Yes,
questions that I
please.
have in regards to my requests.
Sure.
Is it Mr. Shebamel?
Yes.
Could you please provide me with the protocol or policy that you will have a guideline for me to follow, please, in regards to what previous pro se inmates may have had access to and be able to utilize? Do you have anything in writing as a hard copy?
We'll have to check on that. Are you making a public records request?
You found it.
I'm sorry?
Are you making?
Okay, guys, this is what happens when we don't like you. Guys, we're gonna have to let me
A public records request?
check on the other part.
I'm unclear of your question. I was just asking if Orange County Corrections Department had any type of guideline that you are accusing me of going above and beyond, other than the pen and paper. So I didn't know if you had a policy or process in, if you have a pro se packet, like JAC has a pro se packet. Does Orange County provide something like that?
You'd have to ask the jail that question. I don't know. I advise from a legal standpoint, and I can certainly tell the jail what the legal standard is. I'm not going to advise you as what the law is, but I'll certainly advise the jail as what the legal standard is.
Yes, please. Captain, I would be responding to you in regards to that, or following up with you, or Sergeant DeJesus.
Ma'am, we don't have any access to that. I don't know anything about what other inmates that are currently pro se get other than that laptop and the information transferred to a USB drive.
Yes, ma'am. Thank you. And Mr. Shabamel, you repeated that I have access to the court. Could you please define to me what your access to the court is for me?
Yeah, I'm going to object. I'm not a witness in this case. I'm really counsel for the jail, so it's really not appropriate to ask me questions. I know I've entertained a few, but I'm really not required to answer any.
Ma'am, he's not in a position to answer those questions.
Could you please answer who might be able to? Because I am in desperate need to view the case docket, which requires internet, and I'm still waiting for any documents that you have mailed to me. I am unprepared, it seems, every single time now sitting here at the counselor's table.
Oh, girl.
With not the same information and opportunity and advantage as everyone else in the courtroom, because I'm waiting for the mail. So I didn't know if anyone had any other suggestion of how I might be able to receive those more expeditiously in a timely fashion, so I can be prepared in order to properly defend myself in apparently more than one way for every time that I'm here in the courtroom and something new is presented to me as a surprise. So I'm just trying to avoid those.
Items will continue to be mailed to you at the appropriate address as required by the rules of judicial administration and general practice.
So if I may please clarify, my understanding is the only way that I can receive anything is through United States Postal.
I'm not going to answer that question because that would be me potentially providing you legal advice. But what I can.
Okay, we're going to stop there because we're going to have to go over to the other stream. And they say in 6 minutes and 40 seconds, they're supposed to start their stream. But, Fubar, I want to tell you I want to explain a few things. A sticky label to separate the papers. They can't use anything with sticky because people can grind up inappropriate medications or grind up, things into a powder and then stick it on the back because they'll steal it. They'll steal them from her. And then what they do is they'll lace it with water and lace it with inappropriate stuff and let it dry. And then they sell it and people can lick it and get their little on. So no, they cannot have those. It's paper. They offered to give her folders and envelopes with no sticky and I know. I've not been in jail, but I know people who have. And I've also done ministries in jail. So yes, nothing sticky, nothing with metal or staplers, no paper clips, pencils that they give them, pins that they give them. In fact, a lot of places use pins that are real rubbery. It's like a tube that you can't break and sharpen. So yeah, it's really cray. And she's screwed.
Yeah.
So we're going to try this again. I'm going to end this live.
Morales, good morning.
Good morning, Miss Morales. I am going to, before I end this live, I'm going to start the other live. And then we are going to see if this will redirect. I have not tried it again. I am going to, like I said, see if I can go live on another channel and then redirect here. Now, what I will do is during lunch break, we'll come back to this. It will be awesome. Let me get the music going on that one.
Ronnie.
What is Ronnie saying?
Oh, Ada, stop lying. You know you were a shock collar and before you wore a shock collar in prison.
Oh.